Mm, this is so weird. All right, now it's audio only, right? Great. The webcam isn't working for some reason. If I turn on the webcam, yeah, Liam, I'm trying to change the speed. If I change the quality, I know it makes my face look all pixely, but if you can hear me better, that might be just fine. Or we can just do audio. Okay, that's better, better, better. Okay. All right. So we'll just do it with the pixely face, and it doesn't really matter because you don't have to see me anyway. You just know that I'm here. And then you can start chatting in your questions. So, all right, good. So you can hear me, and that's more important than anything, I guess. So let me know. Yeah, there's ads because it's a free service. So sometimes you'll miss the answer to a question because it's free. Sorry, that's just kind of one of those things. All right, good. So remember, I can't hear you or see you, so you have to chat your questions in. Who screamed? Well, my husband's watching a movie, so you might have heard that, but nobody here screamed, thankfully. That would be bad. So I'm just opening the exam here. I seem tired. I am tired. I am very tired. Always something wrong. Yeah, I know, Liam, but you can hear me, so now you can ask me questions. And that's the important part. So go ahead and ask away. All right. It sounds worse? Oh. All right. So Macy, where you're typing right now, you just type a question. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get rid of the audio or get rid of the video and see if audio works. Oh, you're sweet. Somebody just said, Rachana says I look good anyway. Okay, so is audio better? All right. So again, Macy, just do it, Macy, in the chat box, the same place that you asked your question. No, you will not. It's the question, will we need to draw a cell on the exam? No. It's a multiple choice test. There's 50 questions. You do not have to draw anything. You will not have to label the heart because the circulatory system is not on the test. So you won't have to label the heart. So cannot handle, okay. So hopefully you can still hear me. I just is on audio, so there's like this weird, I don't know, like lights thing on there. Okay. Yeah, it's black because I shut the video off, guys. I shut the video off so you could hear me better. Okay? I know it's a black screen. I shut the video off so that you could hear me. So just listen. You don't have to worry about seeing me, which is probably just as well. So everyone can hear me, I assume. Oh. Okay, stop telling me it's a black screen. I know it's a black screen. I shut the video off. Okay. That must be Kendall texting me. Hi, Mo. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to leave it off because everybody can hear me, I guess. So, it's, what, hon? She's in her room, hon. Is there an acronym for the 7 life processes? Because I can't seem to remember them. Well, video's not on because I don't have a fast enough connection. I don't know why. I tried it on my Apple. I tried it. Okay. Yeah, I have cereal. Yeah, she has pasta. Okay, so 7 life processes. Dad's in there. Oh, Dad's home. 7 life processes. It just means what are the 7 things that mean you're alive. And quite frankly, it's not on the test, so don't worry about it. How about that for an answer? That's what you get for showing up at the Ustream. You get little hints like that. So 7 life processes is not on the test. So don't worry about it. That's the only question I've gotten so far. So you guys have to ask questions. Hopefully you can all hear me. Kendall says you can hear me. They were getting it. I sounded like a chipmunk. So, all right. So I haven't gotten any questions for a while. So you guys have to ask questions. How was school?
I mean, it was school.
That's it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You're tired.
I didn't sleep last night again.
I'm sorry. It's so bad. Do you have any stuff?
Stuff.
No. All right, guys. I'm not getting any questions. Huh?
If you start talking to, like, us, just mute.
Where's mute? I don't know where mute is. All right, so I assume you can hear me. There's 27 viewers, and no one's asking me any questions, which is awesome, because that means you don't have any questions. Yeah, but I don't want to. So ask questions, people. I know it's more interesting to look at me. See, I'm still here. But then I think I get squeaky.
Yeah, okay, just that now.
Well, you shouldn't feel bad. They shouldn't feel bad.
And I'm trying not to think about it.
I know.
So people remind me of it every 10 seconds. But
well,
it still hasn't made me kind of afraid of what something happening. Because I'm the kind of person who cries and stuff. And I hate really cry at the airport. So I'm afraid of when I don't know what's going to trigger it. But
all right. Well, are you guys not asking questions? Because, like, I'm not getting the chats. 27 viewers. I don't see any chats.
It's also said 1 minute ago for a while.
I know. So it's stuck or something, and all of a sudden I'm going to hit something, and they're all going to show up. Oh, my gosh. There it is. It was stuck. It was not. It was, sorry. All right. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, my gosh. This is so bad. Okay. Let's start down here. The 7 what? Oh, that's comforting, Liam. What helps pepsin work in the stomach? So does that mean you didn't do the review, Liam, buddy? What works with pepsin? Hydrochloric acid works with pepsin. All right? Let's see. What are the reactants of photosynthesis and respiration? Well, the reactants are what starts the equation. Okay? So what is on the left side of the equation? So what do they need to begin? I'm not, you know the answers to that. I mean, it's the beginning of the equation. So I'm not that was not a, reactant is what it starts with, and you should know the answer to that. Dry mix is dependent, or the responding variable goes on the y-axis. So dependent variable and responding variable mean the same thing. And then manipulated and independent variable go on the x-axis. So manipulated and independent mean the same thing. What are examples of active and passive transport? Well, active transport is when cells move across the membrane needing energy. So active transport is transport proteins. So it's almost like a little shuttle bus, and it hops on these little transport proteins to move it across the membrane. And then passive transport is when no energy is required. So that would be diffusion, osmosis, engulfing. Levels of an organism, like tissue, no, you don't have to know that. What is homeostasis? Well, homeostasis is when your body is trying to maintain some sort of equilibrium. So the inside is trying to stay stable, even when the outside is going a little crazy. So, for example, if you're really cold, that means the outside temperature is probably lower than your internal temperature, and your body will shiver. And that's how your body tries to maintain homeostasis. It tries to warm it up. So if it's too hot, your body sweats, and it tries to cool it off. So homeostasis is your body trying to maintain equilibrium. Okay? Fiber in your diet. Fiber cannot be digested. It's only used to keep your system cleaned out. So it's like cleans out your pipes. It's rough, and it kind of picks up all the gunk that's in your intestines and pulls it out. Like I had used an example, it's like the rotor-rooter of your intestines. Let's see. What is the easiest thing to remember of cell theory? Well, cell theory is when all cells come from other cells, all cells come from other cells. Everything is made of cells. It's hard to kind of give you an example of how to remember it. You just have to memorize it. I know that's not a very good way of giving you an example, but dependent and independent. What is the difference between a dependent and independent variable? Okay. Okay, wait. One quick thing, Liam. You don't have to ask questions if you know the answers. All right. So you're not here to ask questions just to help out other people who might not know the answer. You just ask for yourself. So if you know the answers, you can just sit back and kind of see what everybody else does, but don't ask questions that you already know the answers to, okay? Because then that's going to take up time from other people. Okay, dependent and independent variable, what's the difference? So in an independent variable is what we change. So we as the scientists, when we're doing an experiment, it's what we change, what we control. And then the dependent variable is what changes as a result of the independent variable. So the dependent variable depends on the independent variable. Okay, so that's the difference there. Well, the most important thing with cell theory that you need to know is all cells come from other cells, and that every living thing is made up of cells. Okay, who made the first cell? I don't know, and I'm not going to get into that conversation, but all cells come from other cells, and everything is made up of cells, and those are the two most important parts of cell theory. Reactants for respiration are water and oxygen. That's right. Very good, Abraham, because that's what is the beginning of that equation. Do we also have to explain the life processes? No, crayons. You don't have to explain them because it's a multiple choice test. The lobes are regions of the brain, right? Yes, they are, but they are not on the test. regions or lobes are not on the test. It's just what are the parts of the brain, the anatomical parts, which are cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. Let's see. Can you give us an example question that we can all answer? Well, if you give me a category, maybe, is there a specific problem that that you're having, and maybe I can give you an example. All right, Sophia, it looks like you're having problems. I hope that you're good. Just saying, it is 50 multiple choice questions. Dependent is on the y-axis, independent is on the x. Yep, that's why dry mix is a really good thing to remember. An independent variable is what changes, and a dependent variable depends on the independent. Good, Abraham, that's exactly right. Can you explain constants and control? Well, in an experiment, the constants are what everything that's being tested gets. Okay, so the example that we talked about today in class just then, we talked about the sneakers, I think, in your class. We talked about how if I was going to test if sneakers help somebody run faster, the sneakers would be the independent variable, the dependent variable would be the speed, but the constants would be the same person has to run, the same distance has to be run, the same time of day, warm-ups have to be the same. It's everything that is the same for all the groups. And then the control is the one thing that gets no special treatment, the group that gets no special treatment. Okay, Nick asked if we have to draw on the test. Well, if it's multiple choice, you can't draw on the test, all right? It's not an option. Don't draw on the test. I'll be mad if you draw on the test. Brain. Does that mean give me you want a question that's on the brain? Okay. Well, if I said to you, which part of the brain, sorry, which part of the brain controls involuntary functions like breathing, digestion, heart rate? What would it be? Which part of the brain controls involuntary processes? What would that be? And while you're figuring that out, cells are in every living thing, right? Yes, every living thing is made of cells. Sophia thinks the word mitochondria sounds like a country. Okay, I'm from mitochondria. Yeah, it's actually You're clever, Sophia. I like that. All right. Okay. Domain, independent axis input. What? I'm not sure where that came from. Domain, independent x-axis input. No idea what that is. Do we need to know all the parts of the body or just the ones on the study guide? Well, like on the study guide it asked what is the name of the jaw? I can tell you that just because the name, like that's on there, doesn't mean you only have to know the jaw. I mean, you know that the skeletal system is on it. That includes joints and bones. So those questions were examples of what might be on the test. I mean, I could have given you a review that said, know the skeletal system, know the muscular system, know the nervous system. You have to know the nervous system. Like what two parts of the body make up the central nervous system? Medulla oblongata, that's correct. The answer, AXS. I'm trying to think who AXS is. Who is AXS? I'm thinking. Okay. AX. Anand? Anand, is that you? Anand? I think. You got to tell me if it's Anand. Okay. Yes, it's a medulla oblongata. Priyank, you just asked, do we have to write an essay? It's 50 multiple choice questions. So if it's 50 multiple choice questions, you don't have to write an essay. Okay? Okay. Nervous system. So you need to know the nervous system. So that means you need to know nerve cells. So, I mean, the review, the review is a guide, but that doesn't mean that every question, I mean, I told you from the beginning that it is a cumulative exam, so everything that we have done is on the exam. So it didn't make a lot of sense, like, just because, like I said, mandible is on there doesn't mean that it's the only bone you have to memorize. That's, no. So, yeah, I was right, it's an odd. So you have to, you know that. So I asked again, what are the two parts? Okay, I will give you an example question for independent and control group in that. Let me put that on hold for a minute. SET. Sarah Pryor, that's my guess. Yes, Sarah Elizabeth. Okay. I will, but let me ask you again, what are the two parts? What are the two parts of the central nervous system? What are they? That's my question. Two parts of the central nervous system. Remember, central. Yep, I'll come up with a good question for that. An experiment question where we have to find the independent variable. I will give you one. But in the meantime, tell me what two parts of the body make up the central nervous system. I'm going to look up a good question for independent, dependent variable and stuff. Ow! Experiment. All right. All right, so give me a central nervous system. Why isn't anybody answering my question? I don't think I'm on that much of a delay. Where are my, yes, Abraham was the first. Brain and spinal cord, just. David was next. Brain and spinal cord, good. Brain and spinal cord, you got it. See, so if you guys answer incorrectly, it's going to be a problem because the answers are out there. Good. Brain and spinal cord. Okay, let's see. I'm looking up a good example of one. Oh, I like this one. Okay. Brain and spinal cord, brain and spinal cord. Good, good, good. All right, so how about a nerve cell? Do you think, do you think if I said to you, could you label a nerve cell? Could you? Could you, would you? Do you remember what one looks like? Tell me if you remember what a nerve cell looks like. It looks a lot different than a regular cell. Tell me if you remember. Who remembers what a nerve cell looks like? They're in your notes for nervous system. I'm looking up the test again. I just happen to have it right here. Abraham says he does remember what it looks like. That would be good. So remember, nerve cell looks like a tree. I'm afraid if I increase the quality of the picture, it's going to make my voice sound like a chipmunk again. So I'm afraid to do that. So hang on, I'm looking at the test. Okay, so, Rakita says, okay, good. Dendrite, axon, spindle fibers, nucleus. Looks like a tree. Excellent. Remember, it looks like a tree. Good. Okay. Well, there are 4 main parts of a nerve cell. Wish there was a way. There's a picture on Edmodo, actually, of a really good picture of a nerve cell. You'll have to go back into some of the posts, but it looks like, hang on. I mean, cricket. Is that, Liam, is that your way of saying you don't know what a nerve cell looks like? Hang on, I'm getting a marker. It'd be a lot easier if it was better quality. Hang on. All right, so okay. Oh, you can't even see that. Aw. Okay. I'm going to try to increase the quality. All right. Wait. Okay. That's kind of what it looks like. That's not bad. I'm going to get the quality there. All right. So that's the cell body. Oh, stop. Who answered it first? All right. You guys are so bad. All right, let me see. Let me know if I sound like a chipmunk yet, because the picture's a lot better. Who answered it first? Hang on. ANK 4200. ANK. Anish? Is that you? I don't know, but Anish answered it first. Okay. All right, that is a nerve cell. All right. And remember, I'm going to label it. The trunk is the axon. Nucleus. That makes sense, right? Cell body. That's this part. That's the cell body. And then these things that come off, they're called dendrites. Okay? And the axon would be like the trunk of the tree. And then at the end, they're called the end plates. Okay? And remember that the direction of the nerve impulse always goes away from the cell body. Away from the cell body. So the pink is the direction of the nerve impulse, okay? So what part of the nerve cell carries this message away from the cell body? So give me your answer. Look at this. What part of the nerve cell carries the message away from the cell body? So I'll wait for your answers. Get them in fast. I'll tell you who wins. Whoever wins can get a chocolate kiss tomorrow. Okay, so the question is, do we have to know where the parts are? Oh, you should be able to label a nerve cell pretty easily. But this one in particular, you have to know. The nerve impulses are taken away from the cell body by what? What part of the nerve cell? I'm waiting. I know there's a delay, but hurry up and give me the answer. Come on. Who's first? Who's going to get the chocolate? Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, I'll go late. Don't worry. I started late, but I'll go over if you want to stay. What's the answer? What part of the nerve cell? No, yes. Okay, wait. Rachana got it first. Axon. Axon, look. Axon carries the nerve message away. Axon away. Whoop. So, the axon carries the nerve cell away from the cell body. The dendrites are up here, okay? And that's how it goes nerve cell to nerve cell. But the axon carries it away. Just like arteries carry the blood away. So it's AA. Axon away. Because this is how this is the cell body. And then this is the direction that the nerve impulses go. Whoop, so it's the axon that carries it away. All right, so don't forget that. There was another question down here, I thought. Is the synapse the stuff between the nerve cells? Yeah, actually the synapse, Sophia, is the space between one nerve cell and another nerve cell. They don't actually touch. The nerve impulse actually has to jump. You don't need to know the specifics of that yet, not till 9th grade, but it's called a synapse. Scientific notation is not on the exam. Not on the exam. I was right. A and K is Anish. It starts with an A. That's right. So axon away, just like artery away. So nerve cell. All right. Question. Joints. Joints, joints. You need to know joints. It's part of the skeletal system. I mean, there was no way that I could put on there question for question what was on the test, because I may as well just give you the test, which you would have liked, and I get that. But you need to know joints. So tell me what you know about joints. No, Jathin, you weren't first. Sorry, buddy. What do you know about joints? Can I ask another question for Candy? Okay. Another question for Candy. What joint provides the greatest range of motion? Go. What joint provides the greatest range of motion? Which one is it? Quick, quick. I'm writing your names down so I can remember. who got the candy tomorrow. Which joint provides the greatest range of motion? Oops, now I'm using the mouse to try to my other computer. That's not going to work. Which is it? Who's going to be first? Joint with the greatest range of motion. Come on, people. Greatest range of motion. What is it? Yep, there's different kinds of joints, but which joint provides the greatest range of motion? Ball and socket, tract and girt. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Oh, GMN. GMN. Who's GMN? Oh, ball and socket, ball and socket. Awesome. GMN. Who are you, GMN? G. 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 How many names start with G? No idea. G. Garrett, but no, that can't be right because that's N. George. Nope, I don't have a George. Genevieve. I don't have a Genevieve. Gary. Nope. I have no idea. Grace. I don't have a Grace this year. Ball and socket. Okay, I'm glad I'm getting a lot of ball and sockets, but I don't know who G is. Who's G? GMN. G. Oh, I don't know. That's going to drive me crazy. But you're going to have to tell me or you're not going to be able to get your chocolate kiss. Oh, G. Gavin. Gavin. No, because Gavin's last name starts with an S, not an N. I have no idea. Okay. So, who are you? Jujual Fayez says he answered first. Let's see about that. I don't know. All right, well, I'll check. Oh, wait. No, you didn't. Okay. So, let's see. Gabby! Oh my gosh. Gabby. Of course, Gabby Nelson. That's funny. Sorry, Gabby. All right. Oh, 7th P. It's a good thing you said that because I have 2. Oh, okay. Let's see. Which joint works like the hinge on a door? Oh, I just said it. The answer, didn't I? Okay, never mind. All right. All right. What is the layer of bone just below the outer membrane? What is the layer of bone just below the outer membrane? I'll figure out who answered first. Just chill. Okay. So, what is the layer of bone or the layer, what is the layer in the bone just below the outer membrane called? What's it called? There's the outer membrane of the bone, which is actually called the periosteum. It's a fancy word for the outer layer of the bone. And the very next thing, what is it? What is it? I'm just updating Edmodo. I am still on this. Will start Modo at 8:15. Hang on. 2, 5, 6. Oh. Okay. I don't. All the questions seem to come in at the same time. Apparently, Nick thinks the answer is Bob. That's comforting. Marrow. Nope, nope, nope. I've got marrow, spongy bone. Think about a bone. First of all, marrow is the goopy stuff in the middle. Compact bone is correct. RHM was first. Compact bone, or hard bone, David said, but it's called compact bone, and RHM was first. So who's RHM? Because I'm too tired to figure this out. Marrow is the stuff. Remember when you cut through the chicken? Remember when you cut through the chicken wing and you saw the red stuff? That's the marrow. And the marrow makes blood cells, red blood cells. So the marrow's in the middle of the bone. Compact bone is the very next layer because it's got to be hard on the outside. So compact bone is the answer. Spongy, spongy, spongy. No, Sophia, it's not spongy bone. And think about it. If I tell you the outer layer of bone is like a membrane, like a shiny thing, the very next layer has to be hard because every time you bumped into something, you would break your bones if it wasn't. So that would be a problem. Where on Edmodo is the video going to be? I'll save it here and upload it to YouTube, and then I will post the link, the YouTube link, on Edmodo. So it'll be a note within the first couple minutes when we end this. Okay. 7 life processes. We talked about that. It's sorry, I'm distracted. 7 life processes. I'm getting the rainbow circle of death on my Mac, and I know that's not good. Hang on. So somebody answered that question below. 7 life processes. Ria got it. Good job, girl. Okay, I'm gonna write it down. Okay. Hang on. I'm going down to, let's see, the beginning here. Oh, it was on the other one. So the 7 life processes is like reacts to stimulus, growth, reproduction. I don't have the answer key in front of me. Somebody else that has the answer key, write it down. I'm just tired and I'm having a little trouble focusing on that. We can talk about tendons if you want. It says, can we talk about tendons? Sure.
What is the difference between a tendon and a ligament? Tendons attach something to bone, and ligaments attach something to bone. So which is it? They both attach to bone, but one is bone to bone and one is muscle to bone. So if you remember, the ligaments in the shoulder, when we cut the chicken wing, there was a ligament coming off of the ball of the shoulder, and it attached to the socket and it held it in. So ligament is bone to bone and tendon is muscle to bone. So the tendon is the thing that at the very end of the muscle, when we did the chicken wing, it kind of was like pink and then it went into white and then attached to the bone. That's the tendon. Okay, so if you, well, when you're eating chicken wings, I guess you're eating muscles and tendons, because if you eat everything off the bone, that's what you're eating. Somebody asked, what is peristalsis? Yes, and then Anand answered, it's the wave-like movement when food goes down your esophagus. But Anand, it's not just your esophagus. It's through any part of your body. So when waste goes through your large intestine, when churned up food goes through your small intestine. I mean, think about it. We have 23 feet of intestine, all right? I do. You don't yet because you're not grown. If I didn't have a way to kind of squeeze it through, then I would have to rely on gravity, and I'd have to kind of hop back and forth to get the food to like move through my small intestine. So peristalsis is not just in the esophagus, but it's, sorry, in a lot of places. Nope. Tendons is muscle to bone. Who just said? Anish said tendon is bone to bone. It is not. Tendon is muscle to bone. Ligament is bone to bone. Ow, 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 ow. Tendon, muscle to bone. Okay? When we were looking at those chicken wings and it went pink to white, that white was attaching the muscle to the bone. So that's a tendon. Tendon is muscle to bone. Okay? Not bone to bone. Bone to bone is ligament. Let's see. You will simple and complex carbs. The only difference between simple and complex carbs is complex carbs are more difficult to break down because there's more molecules involved. Simple carbs just break down much easier. That's not on the test, so don't worry about that. So somebody had asked, give us an example of an experiment where we would have to identify dependent and independent variable, and I found one. I'm trying to give you a new one because I always say the same one about my Miracle-Gro and my plants. You guys make fun of me. So, okay, so listen to this. All right. So this is the hypothesis. Okay? I'm going to read the hypothesis. If jars of water in the sun are wrapped with different types of insulation, then the temperature of the water in the jars will increase by different amounts. Okay, I'll read it again. If jars of water in the sun are wrapped with different types of insulation, then the temperature of the water in the jars will increase by different amounts. So the first thing I want you to answer is, what is the independent variable in this project, or in this experiment? What is the independent variable in the experiment? Answer that first. I'll answer those other questions in a minute. I want you to think about the question I just asked. I do see though, what's the difference between qualitative and quantitative? Quantitative means numbers. Very good, Abraham. Quantitative or quantity is numbers. Qualitative is the quality, or what does it look like, feel like, sound like, the five senses, but we don't taste in science, okay? So I'll read that question one more time. If jars, no, hypothesis. If jars of water in the sun are wrapped with different types of insulation, then the temperature of the water in the jars will increase by different amounts. Rakita says the miracle grow. Very funny. When is it going to end? Well, technically 2 minutes. So let's get through this question. Independent, different types of insulation. Excellent. Hang on. Who is it? Louisiana State University. That was LSU calling for my daughter. Okay, so the type of insulation, LJS independent is the different type of insulation. LJS also said the dependent variable. So she already beat he, he. Trying to think who LJS is. This person already wrote the dependent variable too. So everybody else, tell me what the dependent variable is. Oh, Rakita got the dependent already too. Well, Nick, it's already past 8 o'clock. So okay, so Rakita and LJS. I'm sorry, I don't know who LJS is. Sorry, guys. The independent variable is what we change, and what we're changing is the insulation around the jars. So that is the independent variable. But what do we think is going to change as a result? Well, according to the hypothesis, the temperature of the water in the jars will increase by different amounts. So the temperature of the water is the dependent variable. Okay, Sophia said she wants chocolate, which I do too, and feel free to bring in chocolate for me tomorrow. Just saying. Okay. So again, the dependent variable is the temperature of the water. Very good. All right, now, what are some constants? Yes, Blue Corgi, LSU, I'm sure you found that funny, but she's not going there. Okay, constants. What are they? Temperature of water, good, they're all coming through now. Give me some constants. Okay, so I'm going to read it again. Give me some constants. If jars of water in the sun are wrapped with different types of insulation, then the temperature of the water in the jars will increase by different amounts. Okay, good. David said the control is the jar without the insulation. Excellent. You have to compare it to something. Good. It won't evaporate because the water won't evaporate because there's lids on the jars. So that's a good question, but there's lids on the jars. I'll answer the active transport thing in a minute. Okay, so what are some constants? I know there's a delay, so once we get through this, then I'm switching to Edmodo. The constants are the same amount of water, same amount of sunlight, or temperature. Okay, good. Good, David. That's a good constant. Same amount of water. Yep. And the same jar. Okay. It has to also be the same kind of jar because the thickness of the jar might be different. Kitak wrote that it's the sunlight, the amount of sunlight. Good. Jathin asked if we don't finish the test, are we allowed to stay after school? No. Once you start the test, you have to finish the test, and it's 50 multiple choice questions. So you just got to go through them. You know, if you sit there and stare at it, either you know it or you don't, you know. Constant, a situation or state of affairs that does not change. Oh, Rakita's getting fancy. That's the constant is what everything gets. It's the same. Wow, you're getting fancy pants, Rakita. All right, there was a question about, so we're done with that experiment. All right. Is active transport the movement of all types of molecules across a cell membrane with energy? Yes. Anytime energy is required. Now, diffusion and osmosis, no energy is required. It's a semi-permeable membrane and it lets the molecules in. Okay? Now, situations where active transport would be necessary is when a cell is pushing out or letting something in that is going to not have that equilibrium be in place. And that can happen for a number of different reasons. But you just have to remember that active transport is the movement of molecules across a membrane with energy. Passive is without energy. So without energy would be diffusion, osmosis, and engulfing. And then active is transport proteins. I will be on Edmodo until 9 if you have any other specific questions. And I will be in early tomorrow. If you want to come in, I should be in by 7. That's the plan. I really plan to be in by 7. But, you know, just know that the, just because, like I said, just because I asked about the mandible doesn't mean that mandible is going to be on the test. I might say, what do you call the bones of the back called? What are they called? The bones of the backbone. I might say, what is another name for your pelvis? Or, well, no, that would be too close. I wouldn't ask that. Or what is, I don't know, what is a baby's skull made of mostly? Okay, so those on there were examples. I can't possibly put on there all the stuff that we cover, you know. So I'm going to move to Edmodo and ask questions there, and I will help you as much as I can. Just it's not a bubble sheet, by the way. It's you're going to put the capital letters on an answer document. So I'll be on Edmodo till 9, and I'll post this right now to YouTube. So actually give me about 2 minutes so I can post this on YouTube, and then I'll be on Edmodo. So feel free to ask any questions. So study, don't panic, know the stuff we've gone over, and you will do very well, I promise. Bye, y'all.